Dream State. A young woman stumbling through the New York fashion world finds solace in her dreams and the relationships she cultivates within them. But when her dreams manifest in her real life, she must contend with the discrepancies between flawed humanity and her subconscious perfection. Abbreviated pilot. Kris is standing in an elevator going down from the 8th floor of her new Lower East Side apartment complex. She stands sketching a portrait of a man she's been seeing in her dreams. She's been moving boxes from her van all morning, but in her free moments she can't help but sneak glances at the made-up man. Dark, wavy, chin-length hair and almond eyes. In her daydream state, she doesn't notice that she nearly bumps into a young woman similar in age as she's exiting the elevator. Kris shoves the sketch into her pocket as she apologizes and quickly finds out that the extroverted girl's name is Sofia. Sofia subverts the New York stereotype by being friendly and empathetic straight off the bat. Before long, Sofia is helping Kris move the last of her belongings into the sparse room, and Sofia can't stop herself from being nosy.
So, you uprooted everything and abandoned your family to come here for what?
I know it's corny, and I have no idea where to even start, but I've always wanted to work in fashion.
Fashion? Get in line.
I know. I mean, if you have any leads, please don't gatekeep.
I talk so much I couldn't gatekeep if I tried. But hey, I help manage the salon up the block. It's one of those sleek joints. I could probably get you a gig there for now. You still need to pay your rent, and who knows, maybe one of the clients will be your next big break. Anyway, I need to get ready for my shift. Come by with a resume tomorrow. I'll see what I can do.
Kris hardly has a moment to thank her new friend for all the help before Sofia rushes out the door. Kris flops back on the bare mattress and stares out through the window at the city lights. Over the course of the next couple weeks, Kris gets more comfortable with the neighborhood and settles into a routine working as a hostess at the upscale salon. In the back room, Kris sneaks sips of the champagne kept for the coveted clients who pop in for a root touch-up during their lunch break and flirts with the boys that sweep the floor and do the laundry at closing. One Sunday morning, Kris and Sofia are opening the salon, bodega coffee and bagels in hand, when Sofia says something that triggers Kris to remember a recurring dream she's had since moving to the city.
Repeat what you just said?
What? That I'm getting into manifestation?
No, well, sure, but the part about the guy.
That a hot tan guy with dark wavy chin-length hair and a leather jacket just moved into our building? I mean, I know, hot, but no need to choke about it.
Kris is too much of a feminist to choke over a guy, but that's not the point. The point is that this guy sounds an awful lot like the guy Kris has been having a dream world relationship with for the past month. Of course, it would be insane if the same guy suddenly moved into her complex, but hey, maybe Sofia's manifestation spiel Kris half listened to holds weight. Later that day, a woman with a sharp bob and a Chanel tweed jacket slung over one shoulder waltzes in for an eyebrow tint while discussing the art direction of an undisclosed editorial. Kris seizes the opportunity to make a comment while replacing the woman's mostly empty coupe of champagne with a fresh one.
Excuse me, I couldn't help but overhear that you work in a magazine, and, well, I'd like to...
I've always appreciated the hospitality at this salon, but if my meetings are going to be interrupted by an aspirational transplant, remove my name from your roster. Excuse me, where were we? Yes, we should be referencing McQueen. Pre-Sarah Burton, of course.
As Kris places the fresh coupe down, the woman flashes Kris a veneered smile while the eyebrow technician gives Kris a pointed look that translates to back off. Kris rushes to the back room while the deafening sounds of hair dryers, running water, and animated chatting fills her already throbbing head. Once away from the chaos, Kris downs the rest of the woman's leftover champagne. At least the exchange gets Kris's mind off of the dream guy. That night, while Kris and Sofia are heading into their building after a happy hour debrief of the salon drama, Kris has to do a double take when she catches a glimpse of a man walking toward their building who resembles Sofia's description from that morning. Kris shakes her head and heads to the mailroom while Sofia waits by the elevators. As she turns to exit, the door suddenly swings open, and it's the man from her dreams. Kris stares wide-eyed.
Oh my God, I am so sorry. I nearly knocked you out.
Oh, please, you'd have done me a favor.
I didn't realize I had such an effect on people.
Don't flatter yourself. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm having a weird day. I'm Kris.
Alex. Just moved in. 3rd floor.
Kris, 8th floor. Oh.
Well then, Kris. I hope to see you around.
Kris suddenly realizes the situation and drops Alex's hand and rushes out of the mailroom toward the elevator. Before the elevator door closes, Alex walks in and glances at Kris once before Kris obviously avoids eye contact. Sofia glances back and forth between them with analytical eyes until Alex exits.
What the hell kind of tension-induced sauna did you just force me into?
I don't know. I just met him in the mailroom. Except I didn't just meet him in the mailroom. Are you free, like, right now? I need to tell you something.
In Kris's apartment, which is now decorated and neatly kept yet still feels lived in, a record plays on low volume while a couple of candles burn, setting a cozy mood. Sofia is carrying 2 mugs of tea toward Kris, who is sprawled on the floor.
So what you're trying to say is that you've been living a parallel dream life in which you and this man you just met in real life are together? Like, seen each other naked together?
I haven't seen him naked yet, but yeah, basically.
Well, maybe tonight you'll get lucky.
It's later that night, and Kris is asleep. Once again, she meets her dream man. It's like Manhattan, but everything is a little skewed. The colors are a little more vibrant. The stars actually visible despite the light pollution. There are no sirens or traffic, and people's voices are muffled and their faces obscured. Kris and her dream man move slowly through Washington Square Park, bodies pushing against the dense dream air. They're holding hands, and while she doesn't get lucky, he does give her a phone number.
Here, love. Call this number.
Whose is it?
It's for a fashion agency. You deserve this. You deserve everything. I'm so proud of you.
Kris wakes abruptly, suddenly met with the crisp real-world air and relentless sirens before stumbling for a piece of paper and pen to write down the number before she processes how objectively ridiculous she's being. She tosses the paper aside and forgets about it as she falls back asleep. Later that week, she finds the paper while cleaning her apartment and puts it in her wallet. She carries it for a few days before the curiosity is too much to bear. She gives in and dials the number.
Fluke Agency, Lucy speaking. How may I help you?
Kris can't believe it. The number actually worked.
Hello?
Hello, yes, sorry. I'm calling because I heard you guys had an open associate position.
What did you say your name was?
Kris Ashley.
Well, Kris Ashley. I'm not exactly sure how you got a hold of that information. We haven't even released this season's open positions to our internal job board.
Of course, I understand, but concerns aside, a head start never hurt anybody.
No, but it could very well be a waste of time.
I assure you it would not be. I have a portfolio and concept deck ready to go.
I know that our recruitment team is having a meeting on the matter this afternoon. Leave me your number, and maybe I can see if they'd accept an early application.
Kris does not have a concept deck, and the latest version of her portfolio is from her junior year, but she leaves her number and clings to her phone for the rest of the day, hoping to hear a call back. It's her day off, so she agrees to a coffee date with a guy from a dating app. She gets the call as a hipster-style man with a scruffy beard covered in croissant flakes talks at Kris while her eyes glaze over. She jumps out of her seat the second her phone starts buzzing and picks it up unapologetically, while other people engaged in pseudo-intellectual conversation in the dimly lit jazzy cafe turn to look at the one non-blasé patron.
Hello, Kris. I have to preface this message with the fact that we don't usually do this, but we are willing to make an exception if you come in tomorrow at 12 to give a 10-minute presentation, since you seem so eager.
Thank you. Yes, thank you. I'll see you then. You were so lovely, but a family emergency came up and I gotta go. See you around. Not.
Kris rushes out of the cafe, feeling slightly guilty for not offering to pay for her half of the order, but maybe this is her reparations for the helpless conversation. Besides, who cares what some guy thinks? She has a presentation to procure. Fade to credits.